We did notice that bringing the bovines here is positive for everything that goes in and left and right of this creek, which is the outflow of the nearby water reservoir. So that is why we just opened that, so that they can come down here and eat something fresh instead of straw and the supplemental feed. Because as you can see, that treatment with animals is helping this to grow. This green patch here hasn't been there before, so that definitely has a positive impact. And before we get into autumn, which is soon, we are at the end of August, we can take advantage of this. And there is something. Maybe I can find out what it is. It's a turtle. No, it's not a turtle. Oh. That's a first. So that was a very pleasant surprise. This is the first one that I've seen here. So step by step, this becomes a habitat. So here the cows and the two bulls come. I will move aside in order not to stop them. And this is going to be basically their weekend spot. Makes it a lot easier, because here there's water and there's food. And as you can see, that was a good choice. The little fellow in the water will probably not mind, because there are more places where he can go and the cows cannot follow him. There's a lot of thermals going off and it's a bit windy, but this is the current state of this patch. The corn is going tall. Let's see what else we can find. So there's quite a bit of corn. I see sunhemp and also a few sunflowers. Let's see what the palovnia trees are doing. So in here there are some leaves that belong to a tree. They are a little bit tucked away. So we will see if the tree can manage to grow fast in order to keep up with the others. This is the other observation point here. So there is a tree, but the tree is smaller than everybody else. If you look very closely, you can find its leaves there, right in the center of the image. It does get sunlight, so that means it will continue to grow. So here, this is a little bit different, because in there's also a tree, and it's somehow there in between. Of course, the autofocus will focus on things that we don't want, but if you look very closely, you can find a leaf of different shape and different color there in between. That is exactly why we do this experiment here, in order to know what does work and what does not. So it might be that this is going to fail because the other plants will shade the tree out. The tree has been small because of the rats and all that. In earlier videos you can find what happened. Usually when they come from the nursery, they're a lot taller and have enough leaves already. So by now they would be ahead. But then of course all these plants here, they are also growing fast and tall. So that's an interesting race. Those trees that sit at the corner of course have it easy. There is no competition. There is also some Bermuda grass in there now. So here this can be seen. That is Bermuda grass, the finer leaves there. This case here is interesting. Here the bigger tree leaves maintain themselves in full sunlight. There's only one now in the shade. So this might be working out well. It might very well be that we will lose trees due to being shaded out by the other plants. But there are enough in here, and at corners like this one, that this will not be a completely failed experiment without no trees left at the end, because all the other things, they will be dying off when it gets colder. while the trees will just lose their leaves. But this is an indication how and what to plant, and I wanted to make this experiment in order to see a little bit what is going on. Of course, we picked plants that grow fast and tall, but so are the trees. But then of course the trees may not be, it might not be the right moment for the trees. If we had this done in spring, maybe then it would be different. But it doesn't matter. The temperatures are still right for all these plants. And there's enough sunlight and enough moisture. So I don't think that is a big issue. But then the trees have not come straight from the nursery, and they have suffered a little bit. So maybe that's an unfair disadvantage to the tree. But we'll see.